Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor.
Law firms will take this as a retainer.
What? It must be a law firm where they hungry as hell. Now you gonna help me with this parole I'm dealing with?
Judge Joe Brown's all-new barbecue sauce and seasoning. Justice in the form of flavor. With one taste of our premium blends of all-natural ingredients, herbs, and spices, you'll fall in love with meat all over again. Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce collection is made up of 2 zesty flavors, original and spicy. There's only one way to bring order back to barbecuing. Just add Judge Joe Brown's all-natural barbecue sauce and seasoning, and you be the judge.
Hi. Happy Monday. Welcome everybody. So this is not Man Up Thursday, but this is Man Up Podcast Monday. Man Up Monday. Of course, Judge Joe Brown is here. I'm about to bring him up. Let me put myself here. Hi, everybody. Today we got to talk about Fani. This week, Judge McAfee is going to issue his ruling on the Fani Willis DA office if they should or should not be disqualified from the Trump Georgia case with Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, and his 17 other co-defendants. So he's going to make that ruling today. Not today, but this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. However, as soon as that verdict is passed down, I will be bringing it to you live because the judge is going to be out of town this week, honey. He had to go get that coin. But anyway, so we have to talk about Fani. I do want to talk about Letitia. Is that how you pronounce her name? I thought it was Letitia. But Letitia James, the Attorney General in New York State, got booed, rightfully so. I do want to mention the Alabama Savages tonight and a couple other things. So, yeah, it's going to be a good show as always. So, please share this video, like this video. Hello to everybody on X. Can you please like and repost the stream on X? And if you would like to donate, you could do so. Super chat is right there. Just hit the $sign. If you have a question, it's easier to send in the super chat with your question or comment. Because sometimes I may not be able to focus on the love room, i.e. the chat room, for your questions. So yeah. Hi, Judge. How are you? What are you eating?
A sandwich. I haven't had anything all day. I
know you didn't, because whenever you have to go out and about and run errands, you will not eat. What kind of sandwich are you eating?
Turkey ham, some beef summer sausage, and some cheese.
Turkey ham, beef sausage,
summer sausage,
all on one sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a Tennessee thing or something?
I thought it was everybody's thing.
Not. You said what? Beef sausage, turkey,
beef summer sausage, which is sort of a hard salami looking thing.
But you got
ham and turkey, smoked turkey,
all on one sandwich.
Yeah, and 2 kinds of cheese.
What kind of cheese?
Probably Swiss and American.
And you eating chips?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I've been spending all day long dealing with some mess. I had SAG-AFTRA with AFL-CIO and they ain't shit. They're sellouts, they're compromised, and the union leadership is stealing from the employees. I had full coverage. I was paying almost $9,000 a year in dues. I paid extra dues for years because of the income I was making to help out the union members. Now, they pulled off a thing trying to get all of the senior members dropped from the group insurance. He didn't tell anybody, and they ought to be penalized by the court in question. They did not send out a notice that they'd been subject to a class action lawsuit. So they dropped everybody and then announced that they were settling the class action. So my medical insurance jumped from the group insurance, which was about $1,670 a year, to almost $16,800 a year. That's on Medicare, Part A, Part B, Part D, and the insurance that you have to pay to cover the rest. The insurance that covers part of the non-covered 20% is more, twice as much as the group plan for extended coverage. So instead of spending $1,700 a year from insurance, I'm paying over $16,000 a year for insurance. If you delay applying for your Social Security until you're 70, you get a premium. But what they don't tell you is if you don't apply for Medicare at 65, then each year you start paying a penalty. The primary non-poverty monthly rate for Medicare is $174.97. That is several thousand a year more than the group plan for Blue Cross. If you don't get the Medicare before you get 66, what winds up happening is that it ramps up to $388 and odd cents a month. And then when you pay the $200 to $340 a month to deal with the stuff that's not covered, that winds up ramping your insurance up, not insurance, but Medicare, to approximately 10 times what a group plan would cost. Now, I want my money back from SAG-AFTRA. The asses haven't done a damn thing. They're way behind in their collection of residuals as per their contract with the membership. They're stealing that. And I don't think I would have to, should deal with anything more than the minimum SAG-AFTRA / AFL-CIO dues a year, which is $480, since I'm not getting any goddamn benefits. They can't come up with anything but garbage ass movies that are trying to corrupt everybody in the country into being junior grade perverts. And I don't like what they're up to. Some scandals, the membership, anybody AFL-CIO, SAG-AFTRA ought to know that. By the way, I got interviewed by AFL-CIO this last summer. I was running for mayor in Memphis, and the representatives out of Atlanta wanted to chime in with AFL-CIO saying, guess what? The most important objective for organized labor ought to be, guess what? Making it easier for trans employees. Now, how many employees of AFL-CIO are trans employees? And then that comes up with the move the union was supposed to have a 50-50 ratio between men and women on the job, getting equal pay. So now you can have 50 men and 50 women, but 25 of the 50 women got dicks. So what happens is 25 women, 75 males, which is not fair to the membership. So I just want to advertise that's where AFL-CIO is going, and I raised hell about it.
Speaking of Hollywood, the Oscars was yesterday.
Bullshit. You could have found out the winners a week ago. Go on LGBTQIA site. They tell you. It's a farce. They keep you suspenseful, but it's scripted, plotted out. Not everything, but most stuff. They reward their membership. LGBTQIA plus, and they aren't even fair about that.
What did you
They
ever go to the Oscars or any of the after
got,
parties?
yes, I have.
Okay. Well, just real quick.
What's going on in the audience? You should see it. They have directors out there moving the people around. So come with us, come with us. Applause, applause, applause. So the Oscar presentation is scripted, is fake. So
No, sir, he has not been drinking. We're not playing that game.
fuck you.
Okay, stop with no, it's too soon for that.
No, I don't have time for an asshole.
I know.
Now, bottom line is I am going off into something else too. I've dealt with some people, had some tasks that has demonstrated the goddamn incompetent, and I've got diabetes, so I don't drink, fool.
Right.
Now, bottom line,
you should not
what
be
you think
throwing
was
those
something
accusations.
where 12 years ago I was in a place called, well, never mind. It's on Sunset Boulevard. Told them don't put me in there. Hollywood Boulevard, they put me in there anyway. Bunch of little punk ass Negroes running around. And I told them, I said, go on, man. I just broke up with my wife. I'm trying to get a drink. I'm staying in this goddamn hotel. If you want a drink, get a designated driver, get a limo, get a room. I had a goddamn room. So some punk Negroes tried to go get some little play on that, but what came out's nothing embarrassing. Other than that, screw it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, kiss my high yellow black behind. Now, all right? Now, drop that fool if you can. So anyway, we'll move on for that. Now, I'm trying to tell you something, you dumbass fool, sitting up here with your handkerchief head, slave plantation self. What, you mad because I'm trying to tell you something you don't want to hear? Slide somewhere. Now let's deal with this fool here. This was a district attorney in one of America's largest cities and wound up with a dumb display of dumb crook nonsense. Talked to herself into a dead end. And one way or the other, she's going to wind up getting in a lot of trouble. All she had to do was just keep her legs closed. If in fact Wade got into it after she got it and it was an office romance. No, they're lawyers. They're not supposed to do that. That's her bullshit and makes it worse, her version. He should have kept it in his pants. She should have kept her knees together. And that's what the obligation was. She gapped and he poked. They should have told the judge. They didn't. They concealed it. That's the third thing wrong. Then she okayed off of every single claim he made, and it looks like they split the difference. That's fourth thing they did wrong. Then the damn fool ran off and got her ass in a sling with IRS. Now, if she had just said, okay, we had it going on, we didn't know what to say, and we should have told, they would have got off with a reprimand. Now, she's got 3 bar complaints against her that are from governmental agencies or organizations. They can't sweep that under the rug. She's going to have to answer that. There's the IRS thing for failure to report when she said she got the 50 grand out of her account. 401k, that became taxable income. She didn't declare it, didn't pay taxes on it. Then she only reported 19,000 to the state instead of the 49,000 plus, which was the 50 grand that she said she put in. So now she's in trouble for failing to report 30 grand. Then there's this thing that looks straight up and down like money laundering and a list of check marks that you can check off that put it under Georgia's RICO Act, the same one she's going after Trump with. Really looks great. One of the dumbest stunts I've seen anybody pull off, including a 6th grade dropout or 2.
Well, I mean,
supposed to have a law license. And don't forget, we have something coming up where there will be more exposed.
Oh yeah, on this channel, we're gonna be exposing Fulton County at large. I have a question though.
And she was a judge in Fulton County. And there's all kinds of accusations, which might explain where all of that mysterious money came from.
So, question: this week, Judge McAfee, he is supposed to announce his ruling on the disqualification to remove Fani Willis, the DA Fani Willis office from that Trump Georgia election case. So I just want to ask you, do you think, what do you think? How do you think he's going to rule? Because you know how you have some guests on news like Fox News and other news outlets, special guests, and they say, well, I don't think he is going to, it's a possibility, a big possibility he may not remove Fani Willis. How do you think what, all right, what?
Well, let's put it this way. I've been a judge on the same level as the one in the Fani case here. She wasn't on trial, but had it been in my courtroom, they would be looking at a show cause why they should not be held in contempt. And I not only would remove them, I'd write a personal letter to the Bar Association to strip their law licenses. As the head of a court, I'd be looking at how they betrayed their positions as officers of the court, cast the whole system into question. And I would be personally, as a witness, trying to swear out a criminal complaint against the both of them. So I don't know what this judge is going to do. And perhaps the best thing is, what did Obi-Wan tell Luke in Star Wars? Patience is a great virtue.
No, I get it. But
I'm going to wait and see what happens.
You're going to wait and see what happens. But
I'm
so
not that anxious one way or the other.
Ashley Merchant, she laid it all out in front of the Georgia Senate committee, pulled up all her receipts, deep dive research, great research, which debunked and exposed the lies that Nathan Wade, Fani Willis, and even the former law partner, Terrence Bradley, said on the witness seat. So with all that we know, forget about us on the media, right? But everything, all the facts that came out, is it a possibility that Judge McAfee may rule in favor of Fani Willis?
Maybe.
She also filed papers to not be disqualified. The ethic board said they can't do anything. So
not yet. They can take a law license, but that kind of solved the problem. She couldn't be the DA anymore.
Mm-hmm. And she filled out her paperwork, and she is running for re-election. And I think this would be her third term running. And I hope she doesn't win. But
the truth of the matter is, let me interrupt you this way. For criminal liability purposes, what she says as a lie would actually be better in her favor, which is so darn crook. What she and Wade are trying to contend happened actually makes it worse than what the Trump people are trying to say happened. They'd get in less trouble on the long run. See, this is not going away. This is done in front of the whole United States of America, and it's not something that can be swept under the rug. And most likely, it is part of a pattern of corruption, venality, and wrongdoing that has been going on in that area for a very, very long time. Kickbacks, bribes, extortion, you name it. And it might start coming out because people are saying, hey, it's already on the table. Look at here. This woman is not, all this sister girl magic stuff. This is just crooked. And the other thing that the people of the country need to realize is what you're looking at with Fani is a poster child for what the Democratic Party is trying to push on the country. The DA in New York.
We're going to talk about her.
Talk about her. This is Maxine Waters. This is Lori Lightfoot in Chicago. This is Cory Booker. This is Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. And what you saw with Fani Willis is Kamala Imhoff, Harris-Imhoff 2.0. She was as bad. So this is what they're trying to cram down your throat. Just take a look at it. There's an election season coming up this year.
All right. So with that said, Judge, right? Because yes, listen, the people that we're going to be interviewing and bringing to the audience on this platform that literally been living in Fulton County all their lives, we're talking about decades of corruption. So honestly, I would say if the judge rules in Fani Willis' favor, it is because of the lifelong corruption that continues to happen in Fulton County. Because sometimes, you drag someone for atonement, but you kind of save them at the end so that the whole castle don't come tumbling down. Because if you're going to hold her to that standard of violating the rules or any other corruption, then you got to look to the predecessors. Then you got to look to the sheriff department, other judges, other lawyers, everybody. So, do you get what I'm saying? Like, if you want to expose her or you want to call her corrupt, then we're going to have to open up that can of worms.
One other thing here that's important. If the judge does not disqualify her, then they have an automatic issue on appeal if they do get a conviction. I don't think a local conviction would stand on appeal because there's so much wrong in his case that essentially works itself into First Amendment considerations that are more important than the rest of this nonsense. And in fact, there's a strong case to be made that you're getting an illustration of why we have the Bill of Rights in the first place, so this kind of nonsense doesn't occur, where somebody in charge of a prosecutorial entity can use that to control political, social, and economic activity. Now, that's wrong, and we're getting a good look at it. And what they're trying to do, New York, Florida, Georgia,
California,
is interfere with this man's ability to present himself to the American public so they can determine whether they want him or somebody else for chief executive of the United States. That's what it is here. A small group decides it's going to do something that's never been done in 240 years of this country's history. Jump in there and take the process away from the public.
I want to share this. So it says civil rights attorney to challenge Scott McAfee judge in Fulton Trump case. Because I guess in Georgia, they vote for their judges. Civil rights attorney and talk radio host Robert Patillo plans to run against Fulton Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee, who has been overseeing the high-profile election interference case against former President Donald Trump and others. Patillo plans to qualify as a candidate for the position on Thursday, according to multiple people with knowledge who declined to speak on the record. He is the former executive director of the Rainbow Push Coalition and the social justice and civil rights group founded by Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's also a criminal defense attorney, cable news pundit, and former candidate for state house who has previously billed himself as a conservative Democrat. I didn't know that was such a thing. So what are your thoughts on that? So so when you have election season and people up for re-election, and a lot of times the popularity contest kind of measured on, how do you issue down judgments on certain things? Judge McAfee, he's prime time right now. All eyes are on him, how this young, judge is going to rule in Fani Willis. So
Here's my opinion after 50 years in this business is justice is blind. I've been watching the judge here, and so far what I've seen is A plus. This man has been running the courtroom in a textbook fashion. There's absolutely nothing he's done wrong yet that I could point out on a technical basis. I haven't even seen anything that indicates an ideological slant one way or the other. This guy's playing it straight up and down neutral. That is an art that very few have ever mastered and very few can master. Now, I don't know what this brother is supposed to be offering as an alternative, but this is another one of these things here that's likely to jump in front. Are you buying the color scheme or are you buying the performance?
Right.
Now, I'll have to say this. I've had several thousand cases, and so far, this guy is showing me a performance that would be in the top 5 or 10 out of that several thousand case experience all over this area in question. That's rare. And when you get it, you need to hang on to it, because I've been in front of black judges that didn't know what the hell they were up to. Some that had a real problem with getting run home, having been run home from school too often when they were kids, that are using their sojourn on the bench to get revenge on anybody that reminded them of what ran them home rather than dealing with justice. I've had some fine black judges too. I've had some piss poor white ones, but some damn fine white ones who administered justice. It became a religion for them. So this man right here is so far one of the best I've seen. Now, that clown up in New York, that's embarrassing. That character you have.
Oh, the judge in New York.
Yeah, that clown up there in New York is embarrassing. That clown you had on the Bill Cosby show show was embarrassing.
The Philadelphia?
The one where they convicted Cosby.
Yes, him. Okay, yeah.
He was embarrassing. The performance scratching your head, Kanji Jackson, was embarrassing. There are 2 women, well, at least one I'm acquainted with on the same Second Circuit Court of Appeals, who could have gotten a nomination. They have more experience than her. And they wouldn't have embarrassed themselves scratching their heads and not being able to deliver a candid definition of what a woman was, and would have better track records. So we are getting people appointed on one side of the aisle because they have a political ideology that they can be safely counted on to push rather than getting the interest of justice. Brown v. Board of Education was supported by Justice Black and Justice Douglas. Justice Black had been a Grand Dragon of the Klan, but he supported Brown v. Board of Education. The Chief Justice had been a Republican governor of California, and Douglas was about as radical and fine as you got. So those 3, Earl Warren, Justice Black, and Douglas, set the tone for America and American justice for a long time. One was a racist white guy. One was a radical somebody. One was a staunch Republican governor, but they had common sense and they knew the law, and they were on a mission, which is to apply equality of law across the board. That was a good thing. Now, Today, it's all about ideology, and it's all about propaganda with the new communications methodology. So,
But that's bad for our justice system because
of course, it is.
they're
The
bringing
ones
that
that the
stuff in
press
there.
wants to jump on about Trump's appointments, honestly, they are a breath of fresh air. I haven't seen a crew that committed to seeing the defendants have their rights protected in a long, long time. In fact, I haven't seen it since Black, Douglas, and Warren were sitting on the bench back in the 60s and early 70s.
You're talking about Donald Trump cabinet?
Reappointment, no, for the Supreme Court.
Oh, his appointment. Oh, okay, okay.
I've read their opinions, and honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen people with the respect they have for the Bill of Rights and making sure that nobody gets done wrong because of what they look like, where they come from, what they believe in. Now, we've got propaganda that's causing us to get the wrong idea. Fani is not any black heroine. She's not sister girl magic. She's not showing white supremacy. She is showing us an arrogant, narcissistic fool. And the other thing is when you start talking about she's battling white supremacy, understand she's in Atlanta. She is the prosecutorial authority. She decides whether an indictment is presented to a grand jury. She decides whether the state goes forward to pursue a case against one of all those brothers up in Atlanta. She's the one that can step forward and say, in the interest of justice, the state recommends that these charges be dismissed. You see, she has no white opposition because there's nobody over her in Atlanta. She is in charge, and what you see is what you get.
With that said, just a little bit on race. She's in charge. She chooses, for me, the way I see it, she's choosing to go along with what has been going along when you are in a top position or in a government official seat. To whereas any type of corruption that has been going on in Fulton County, no matter what color you are part of it. You are continuing on the mantle of corruption for your own personal gain. With that said, the problem that I have is when you have somebody black in these high power positions, you are not supposed to be in that position to make sure that black people are set free or to be biased, only lenient on black people or do more for black people. No, the purpose of you being black in these high power positions is to make sure that you are bringing justice the right way. Because before you and I were even a thought, when you go to the year of 1919 and even prior to that, our criminal justice system was skewed. It was horrible when it came to convicting or prosecuting a black person, right? So you come across, as decades go on and you have, a lot of prominent black figures, Adam Clayton Powell and, who was the guy, the first black Supreme Justice judge? I can't believe I forgot his name.
One of the best ever.
Thurgood Marshall. They when they got these positions, it was to do your job, not take advantage and be involved in corruption so you could gain power, so you could gain wealth for your family. It is to uphold the law. So I have a problem when you get your ass in trouble and you want to throw the word white supremacy or they are after me. I'm a black girl, I'm a woman, you need to give me grace. You know, I have so much stacked against me. No, you don't. You took advantage of your position and you got caught. And now you want to pander to the black church, to black people, to women, all that. And I have a problem with that because you are actually making society worse, you know, and I'm just making it very plain because I'm a civilian. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a government official. I am a tax-paying United States citizen. And it gets to a point to where we are tired of being taken advantage of.
Look here. Atlanta has a very bad problem with black on black homicides. There is a huge backlog of trials waiting. Ms. Willis got a large sum of money appropriated to her office to back up this, to eliminate this backlog of trials. None of it's been spent. Nobody knows where it went to. See, her office needs to be concentrating on delivering justice to the people that elected her, not trying to grandstand for purposes of the Democratic Party to be a log jam or a traffic jam, trying to keep Baba Yaga, the boogeyman, from getting past that jam to beat the party candidate. See, she's not mayor, she's not congressman, she's not senator, she's not governor. Their job is to deliver patronage, to reward those who support them, because that's why the people voted for them. They're buying influence and buying what they perceive to be good government. You run for judge and he's elected. Howard was elected, got elected to 2 8-year terms here. She's elected. They're in charge of the administration of justice. That's their job, not to dispense patronage, not to sit up and put a boyfriend in a position where you can okay any amount he says, where you have a shortage of funds, where it's likely he's to get $3 to $4, maybe $5 million out of this if he stays on. Nobody is second guessing your okays of his requested hourly charges and expenses. And most of the time in criminal law, it's not really an hourly thing, it's a task thing. And already you have doled out almost $700,000 to him. And you have to put that in perspective. The Attorney General for the United States of America doesn't make that for half a year's worth of service, handling all of the business of the United States. The President of the United States makes a little more than one half that for handling the business of the United States of America. And the three experienced trial lawyers who have criminal backgrounds have come up with maybe a third of that between the three of them. So you also have to explain all of the trips where, remember, is he buying it? Is he paying it? Okay, then what are you doing paying him back, like you say, $24.50 down in Aruba because you didn't want him who says a woman can't do anything but make me a sandwich. I'm going to show him I can pay my share. Where'd you get it? Remember, you told IRS you couldn't handle this $8,400 tax lien they put on your home. And remember, you're in trouble too with the Bar Commission because you have this little problem with the $8,400 your campaign donated back to you to repay you, which is, excuse me, that's just what you owe IRS. And what happened to the other 30-some thousand you didn't report, which violates Georgia law? So you're supposed to be head of law enforcement, and they've got you on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11, I can count right now, episodes of breaking the law by your own dumbass, I swear.
And then you have the impropriety of this relationship you did not disclose. And then you were caught lying about it because of the proof of the cell phone pin tower.
But see, that's not the bad part. The dumb part is if we believe what she claims, it's worse.
So I want to swing to Fulton County corruption real quick because I spoke to several people over the weekends. One of them her name is L.A. Pink, and we will be interviewing her this coming weekend. I want to highlight this. So it says here, purgatory, hundreds of unconvicted defendants spend months in Fulton jail system awaiting formal charges. A prominent Atlanta attorney says without an indictment, inmates have few legal options to present their defense. The idea that defendants are innocent until proven guilty is a cornerstone of the American justice system. But in Atlanta, many defendants awaiting trial are held in a notorious jail known for its deteriorating conditions and violence, right? The reason why I'm highlighting this is part of the Fulton County corruption is because during the Georgia committee hearings, Ashley Merchant, who came with the receipts, had exposed Fani Willis' office for asking for millions of additional dollars to prosecute backlog cases. But instead of doing that, she used that money to investigate Trump. And now we have people who are waiting for formal charges. So when you're talking about corruption, and this is light work right now because the people we're going to be bringing on, they have more stories, more deep dive details. But this is what I'm saying about corruption. Even it's like, okay, even if you are arrested or you're accused of something, it is due process, right, Judge? So you're having these people sit here, you have a backlog because your focus is trying to get Trump, right? So that what? So that you could get a beeline to the Supreme Court, or you could be, Mammy saves the day. So he tearing up that sandwich, honey. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. It's like, when lawyers have their defendant sitting in a county jail because you have a DA's office, because they're the ones that's in charge, it trickles down or whatever, they are not processing these cases. So can you speak to that? Or do you need another minute to chew? Are you still muted?
Okay, I'll speak to it. Look, first off, this problem has been building up under her. And what happened is Fulton County appropriated money specifically, I said this earlier, to get rid of this backlog. She took the money to go after Trump. I don't think Trump's been in Atlanta. I don't think he's been in Georgia except to come through and campaign. He's had minimal impact on the state of Georgia. And now we find that when the press has been muted in terms of its propaganda, some things have been going wrong in Georgia. And they're not can't be laid at Trump's feet. So maybe he was exercising his First Amendment rights to bring some things to our attention. Anyway, there's money that was supposed to be bringing justice to thousands of Atlanteans to make their streets safe, and that's her job. Didn't get used for that purpose. The money got used to further her political ambitions.
Right.
See, that's what makes it so evil, and why her ass needs to be up under a jail with especially aggravating circumstances attendant upon her sentencing, which come from having a position of public trust that was abused, having that position abused for personal interest. And see, she has to show the source of the money that she's been throwing around, spending as cash when it was supposed to be receipted, recorded, and reported, and it was not. The other thing is to see this. You got a boyfriend, you two need money for a vacation. You can't afford it. I say, honey, why don't you pad your bill a little bit more? I'll see to it he gets paid. So he pads the bill, and I looked at some of the stuff they presented, and it looks excessive to me. I wouldn't okay that stuff. But you see, it's not the judge that has to sign off on it. It's her. Now, technically, he's an employee, and she violated all of the Title VII rules when it comes to fraternization, sexual activity with an employee. This is the boss screwing somebody that works for her. I mean, and think of all the women who get exploited because it goes the other way around. It happens to be a he boss and a she employee, and they have sexual peccadillos that go on, and it doesn't look good.
Can I do a side note? Because you actually worked for, what was it? The EEOC?
EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, years ago.
And it is actually reported with them that men actually are harassed at a higher rate than women. It's just that they don't really report it and go through with it. It's like they suffer in silence, but
Well, may or may not be suffering in silence, may or may not be suffering from a man's attitude. What does she look like? Is she hot? You know, hey, go molest me. It's inappropriate, but I don't mind. But still, these days it's supposed to be equality under the law.
I want to go to some of the super chats and thank you everybody who is in this chat. It's a lot of people in here. We have between YouTube and X is 3,900 people. So please like and share this video. Thank you. Mr. Gumbo says, thanks Judge for standing on truth. Mr. Gumbo, aka Hot Grease. Jimbo says, I love Judge Joe Brown, straight talk. Dina, thanks Dana and Judge. You are my hero. Hugs from Korea. Are you in Korea? Oh my God. Hi.
From Korea?
It says Korea. So I'm assuming she meant Korea.
Or
it's a lot of international. Oh yeah, or core, but it's a lot of international people that watch.
I'll take your interpretation.
Thank you, JWEBY80 Judge. I'm CHAA certified is for Medicare. Also,
yeah, I found this out too.
If you don't assign your Medicare benefits to an HMO, you get penalized as well.
Amen. Somebody needs to look into this rip-off racket that they are running on the American public. Social Security is about to run out if something isn't done.
Mm-hmm.
But since FDR's time, even though he pushed it, he had the opportunity to get legislation put in place to protect it. But it became a cash cow that the government can raid every now and then when they need.
Mm-hmm.
So you're exactly right.
Thank you, Paula. Love you, Judge Joe. You handsome guy.
Thank you. I don't mind at all. Just try to be me.
Rebecca says, well, wouldn't that demolitions? Did I say it right? Demolition.
Well, I take it what would be is that, wait a minute, but wouldn't that, I guess you're trying to say, wouldn't it hurt the county so much that so crime wouldn't happen if one sentence could be appealed? How could the judge get away with I'm not sure what you're saying. Want to
Yeah,
post that?
can you just send in $2 and reword it or something? Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Bob. Nathan Wade got $550 an hour to look into the jail. Looks like he went on vacation.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yes.
The time he's claiming to be doing investigation, he's taking a vacation to Aruba.
Right. Thank you, Elena. Thank you for speaking truth. We are starved for that. Yes, the American people are. Jerry, I'm about 4 years from retirement. I am afraid.
You should be. If I might make a suggestion, you can retire at 62. You get minimal benefits. You get 65. You get full benefits for Social Security payments. If you wait till 70, you get extra benefits paid per month. But if you don't get Medicare at 65, you will be penalized for every additional year you stay off of it. I guess they want your money in the kitty. But you have to, so you don't jump up as is current from 174 a month for basic Medicare to 384, etc. per month. You have to show that your group plan was acquired at a significantly lower price and you got more benefits. I surmise they want extra money put into that plan because if you read Affordable Health Care, aka the Obama Act, you will find that that money is used to reimburse insurance companies, medical insurance companies, not all insurance companies, that's specialty ones.
Right.
At a very, very high rate that allows them to benefit from your copay for something, your insurance premium for something, and what the government pays them back for putting the money you paid them out.
I want to highlight this one, new campaign funds. Yeah. And it says, do you think Judge McAfee will open up evidence to get the testimony of the DA from the other county who heard the convo between Fani and Terrence, saying they are coming after us?
Well, you heard it. There's an election coming up. I suggest you act accordingly when you cast your vote.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've found that this kind of person is not going to redeem because they have this narcissistic thing that it's my turn to get the gravy. And they don't look at the salary that they're getting as basically a gratuity for somebody who's put in long service who wants to put in a bit more. They're looking at it as, I need that as a paycheck because I can't make it otherwise. And that's where the problem comes in. You have so many opportunities to kind of reach in the till and keep helping yourself. You need somebody who doesn't have that proclivity to reach in the till. And the thing about it is once somebody gets in the habit of reaching in the till, it's like being a drug addict. The more you use it, the more sprung on it you get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a good thing.
Well, I want to kind of shift gears just a slight bit. Let's go to New York City because apparently, and I want to play this video clip, firefighters booed New York Attorney General who prosecuted Trump. Officials are investigating. Union representing New York City firefighters is raising concerns after possible disciplinary actions against his members after the state attorney general Letitia James was booed and a pro-Donald Trump chant broke out during a fire department ceremony last week. So this is the clip.
Oh, come on, we're in the house of God. First, simmer down. I want to thank Commissioner Kavanaugh and Chief Hodgins for that recognition.
So, yeah, she was booed. I didn't like the fact that she said, okay, simmer down, like it's like you're talking to children. These are firefighters who put their life on the line every day. So if they want to boo, if they want to chant Trump, they should not face any type of disciplinary action. I'm sorry.
The other thing is they didn't particularly want her to come anyway.
Right. So you force someone to come to and speak at their ceremony, and maybe it's because she's the state attorney general, but
that's what they call, see, in New York, an ordinary trial judge is called a member of the Supreme Court. They are not like every other state Supreme Court where they're at the top. Those are just trial level judges. Supreme Court. When you talk about attorney general for the state of New York, you don't mean for the whole state of New York. You're talking about district attorney general. And see, in the city of New York, there are several. So they have so many people stacked up on top of each other. In other words, you look at a 4-block area and you've got as many people stacked up on each other as you would have in a small or a medium-sized town. You got 300,000 people in a 4-block, 5-block area.
But she's attorney general for the whole state.
No, she's not.
She's not?
No, she is a district attorney general.
No, you're thinking of Alvin Braggs.
No, he's one too, same rank she is.
Wait a minute.
So in other words, see, you may have in the course of New York City, you have several.
No, Judge. Wait a minute.
In other words, see, it's just like for a judge. A trial judge is called Supreme Court judge. But everybody outside of New York thinks the Supreme Court is the top appellate court in the state. For New York, that's not.
Wait, no. Wait. So, okay, so Alvin Braggs, for instance, he is the 37th District Attorney of New York County. Oh, God. Can it just make it simple? Okay, so he is a New York County District Attorney covering Manhattan. Letitia James, she is and a politician serving since 2019 as the Attorney General of New York. She is
that the city or the state?
No, the state. So she covers the state.
Now, I'm asking you a question. You ever been to the state of New York, upstate?
No, and that's the funny thing about it. First of all, New York State is very beautiful, but I only dealt with Manhattan, the 5 boroughs.
Yeah, but you know, they hunt and everybody fishes and they go out of their fancified log cabins in upstate New York. So, you know, Miss Holly, my former bailiff on the show, and her husband retired to upstate New York, and they go hunting and fishing up there all the time. Now, what I'm thinking about is the juxtaposition of a bunch of people that go hunt and fish with your typical New Yorkers who are trying to get wine and cheese. You know, an interesting juxtaposition. I may be wrong about what I said, but
no. So it's just more. She's the top attorney general to where.
Yeah, well, while we're talking, check and see if that's for the state of New York.
No, I just checked. It is
City, for the whole the city of New York.
No, Attorney General of New York. The Attorney General of New York is the chief legal officer of the U.S. state of New York and the head of the Department of Law of the state government.
Okay, well, that one I stand corrected. I thought it was like Chicago, where you have our chief prosecuting official there is state's attorney general.
Yeah, I don't know about Chicago, but Alvin Braggs, for instance, he is district attorney.
Okay, now she's the attorney general and not the district attorney. She's trying, what is she trying to do? Pull off a Mrs. Emhoff again?
She wants to be governor, and she hasn't said it, but we all know
president.
Right. So, and then too, so I guess she speaks at the firefighter ceremony because she's attorney general. I don't know, but
again, they didn't want her.
No. And they shouldn't be disciplined for bullying. Because what she and that judge that ruled against Trump, going to what you was talking about with Fani and everything else, you know, these new type of head legal positions, people in these head legal positions, whether it's judges or attorney general, they are on this woke crusade, sort of, you know, it's about political party and not about justice. Why do you keep saying Letitia? Her name is spelled Letia. Is that a sh in there? Correct me if I'm wrong. How you pronounce that? Letitia, right?
She's tedious.
I thought it was Letitia too, but the way it's spelled, you know, unless it's just sound differently from the way it's spelled. But yeah, I want to ask you a question about unilateral party. We have the Republican Party, we have the Democrat Party. And, you know, when it comes to elections, when it comes to Congress, you know, it's either Republican or Democrat, Republican or Democrat. But someone, I forgot where I heard it, but they made sense. They said that it's really a unilateral party. And that's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. always talks to. The unilateral party are the corporations that put millions and millions of dollars to politicians or people running for office, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. They put money behind these different party players for the purpose of making sure that laws are passed in their favor. So you have this outside of the Democrat and Republican Party, where usually us regular folk vote. You have a unilateral party, which is made up of wealthy corporations, and they kind of dictate what laws are going to be passed because they put money behind these politicians.
See, here's what you have with why you have primarily just two parties. One is tradition. Two, the parties used to be kind of fluid. They'd mix and match. You have various and sundry coalitions. But it seems that it's only been a very recent phenomenon that one party has had such a devotedly loyal following that it doesn't have to deliver anything to that group. The other thing is this. You see, if you're going to have a party, what do you have? What did we just get through with? Primaries, right? So how did you express yourself when you wanted to go cast your vote in the primary? You went to a polling place, right? Polling place opened up what time in the morning? You had machines provided by the state. You had workers paid for by the state and the county. So when you have a political party, you evoke the use of all of these tens of thousands of people across a whole state to operate the polls, to open them, close them, run the machines, get the people through so they can vote, the process of counting the votes. And all this time, people are getting paid. So what usually happens is the parties have to post a certain amount of money with the state or have it on account or have it on as a bond to cover their expenses, liability problems in case somebody gets hurt, who gets assigned the blame for this, all kinds of things. So ordinarily, if you're broke, you cannot get in a position of evoking all of this state activity where people get paid by the state to conduct your party primary. And you people want primaries. So what are you going to do? Have a convention? Well, you can have that too, but you still have to have some place to operate. So if you're going to operate as a political party, you're going to have to do better than every candidate you have being written in. See, somebody's got to prepare the ballots. Somebody's got to count the ballots. Main election, primaries, runoff. And that's one of the hangups as to why you don't have so many third parties. Libertarian, they get in there, but they aren't in every state because they can't get enough signatures on the requisite positions and some to qualify to be an official party in that state and evoke that state's apparatus.
But what about corporations and a whole bunch of wealthy people that could create these super PACs that put their money behind politicians
and see,
on both sides of the aisle?
That's true too. There have been some bad decisions on that. If a corporation is an entity, then it should be treated as an entity that is a fictional human. And if one person can't come up but with so much as a contribution, neither can this other fictional person known as a corporation, I think. But what am I to say? Now, the other point that we get into is that today we don't get people going around knocking on doors. We don't get people standing in parks on soapboxes, literally, so they can get up above the crowd. We don't have that. That dropped out of fashion about 15, 16, maybe 20 years ago. So now we depend upon what we're on right now. And in order to operate this technology so that you can spread the word, it costs money. So you get people elected to the House of Representatives and Congress, and they spend, out of the 24-month terms, it is 24 months. They spent 18 months trying to raise the funds to stay in there.
Somebody put corporations are, what did they say? What did they say? Who was it? Okay, yeah. Merlin says corporations are people. Duh, I know that. But the problem is they're able to stack Congress. So you have this invisible third party that are working both sides of the aisle for their own benefit.
They're organizing coalitions. But you see, the thing of it is, even big corporations that might have tens of thousands of workers, there's just one person, one vote. They can buy off the rest of the people. So the old saying about the American system is under a system like this, the people get the representation they deserve. And if the representation's screwed, that's because the people are screwed. So we need to stop being such propagandized victims that are so susceptible to the certain kinds of propaganda we get and react to it. Check yourself. Do you feel this compulsion? It's almost like Pavlov's experience with the dog. Every time he fed the dog, he'd ring a bell. So after a while, and the dogs would salivate because they're getting ready to eat. After a while, all he'd have to do is ring the bell and they'd start running saliva because they think they're about to eat. We've been conditioned just like that. Woof, woof. You want to do that, you have an irresistible urge to roll over on your back so your tummy can get rubbed and your tail just can't help it when it wags around.
And I agree, Marlon. Two-party system, I just think it's rigged to a certain degree, but it's like you really want to make sure you do get the right person in there. Can we go to Alabama? I want to talk about these Alabama savages. These Alabama savages, and that, yes, I'm calling them savages. Even if they were all white, I will call them savages. It doesn't take color out of it. Send help, don't call. Young mom who messaged family for help during kidnap was tortured and murdered, right? 5 of the 8 defendants charged in the murder of an Alabama mother were denied bond on Monday for allegedly participating in a protracted torture of the victim before her death. I want to play this video clip.
It's beyond disturbing, and it was an emotional day in court. Now, one of the saddest details I learned today is that Mahogany Jackson came to the first location thinking these people were her friends. Investigators say they then tortured her, and the things that were described are why Judge Keisha Davis says she denied all of these suspects a bond. Now, Birmingham Police Homicide Detective Mark Green says the first stop was the home of suspect Brandon Pope. Now, that's where Jackson was beaten outside while she was naked. Officers say some of the suspects beat her while others recorded the beatings. Now, Jackson was stomped and kicked, and then prosecutors say one of the suspects can be heard saying, "Put her in the trunk." And then she was dragged naked in the street. Now, Jackson was taken to a second location, and I want to warn you, this will be hard to hear. Prosecutors say Jackson was sexually assaulted at gunpoint. Officials say she was handcuffed, beaten, pistol whipped, and then spat on. Now, Jackson's family, including her mother, were present in court today, and as they read out the evidence, you could hear them getting very emotional. DA Danny Carr says, though, this will be a long road to get justice for Mahogany, and he also explains why only 5 out of the 8 suspects were present today for the Anais Law hearing.
The individuals that are charged with capital murder, obviously, the law, the statute and the rules of criminal procedure says that their bond can be set at a no bond automatically. The individuals that are charged with felony murder, the statute requires a hearing. The next step, obviously, is there'll be further investigation with Birmingham Police Department.
Yeah, another sad thing we learned today was that the suspects wanted the password to Mahogany Jackson's phone. Officials say they even told her if she gave it to them, they would let her go, only to kill her anyway. Now, live at 5, you'll hear what District Attorney Danny Carr says he told the family today.
So, yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on that quickly. Sad, but this is in Alabama, capital murder. I think they have the death penalty.
Most of the southern states do.
And they're young. These are like young people in their early 20s. Probably the youngest, I think, is probably 19, but they're young in their 20s. And,
I had a first-degree murder case, conviction on somebody that was 13 when he supposedly did his crime. Got a stay of execution 23 minutes before they were going to execute him in Arkansas. Wound up getting a unanimous reversal of his conviction with the Arkansas Supreme Court.
Mm-hmm.
That's been 40-some years ago. 40 years ago? Right.
Yeah.
It happened, you see. By the way,
the youngest was 18, so they're all going to be charged definitely as adults.
Yeah, well, let me tell you what you're looking at. See what's going on here? We have stuff like this in Atlanta. What you're hearing is not exceptional these days. There are a lot of these kinds of cases that make no sense. They wanted a phone code so they can see what she was saying to talk about them. See, half of this thing with the repression of free speech is these kids, a lot of adults are too punk to be talked about. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words can never hurt you. But they couldn't run to dozens and talk about each other's mamas or kinfolk like we used to do for fun. They'd go get freaked out. So that's what they do. This is the whole thing. From what I'm listening to, they wanted into her phone to see what she may have been saying about her or them, but that's no excuse to kill anybody. But you see, let me tell you what the real point is here. We just got through with Fani talking about money put out to end this backlog. See, if this was in Atlanta, these people, nothing would happen because she'd be too busy on Donald Trump rather than on the business of her city. See, that's where it kicks in. This is black on black crime. And I keep telling people over and over again, it has nothing to do with the color of your skin. A homicide is a homicide, an unjustified one is wrong. And it doesn't make any difference whether somebody white does it on black, somebody black on white, or white on white, or black on black. It's bad. And it's not promoting public peace, dignity, and order. And it makes it so the quality of life of people who are trying to go to the grocery store, visit a neighbor or have a party or a picnic or go to the mall or go to the movie theater. Your kid's in school and you got to worry about some fool going off because he didn't get raised right. And then you turn around and you listen to what's on the media and they're contributing to that. They're not putting the right thing out. So the people need something better. In Hollywood, we have to stop idolizing Hollywood. There are some sick people in Hollywood. They are adults who've spent their whole lifetimes play acting like they're 9-year-old children. They get into these roles and they think they're real, but they are into make-believe and fantasy, and that's what they've done their whole lives. But we look up to them like they're heroes and sheroes. They're not. They're fundamentally flawed people who can't make the real world, who make 1,000 times what the real world people make by making believe that they're real world. Now, some of them are okay independently of that. I'm not going to get on everybody, but a whole lot of them aren't.
Real quick, remember twice we talked about Ohio stand your ground. Today, the judge issued a verdict in the Amanda Williams because the ex-fiance was found guilty. So he is sentenced to life. So he's getting 24 years, or I think 25 years. He has to serve 24 of what's his life sentence. So he has to serve a minimum of 24 years before he's eligible for parole. So he got life with a minimum of 24 years. The family, her daughter, I believe a cousin, some of the people from the family, they got up and they spoke, they were crying before the judge issued his judgment. We don't have time for me to play that. I wanted to just say this to you to where, judges reading a verdict, again, talking about Hollywood, they don't open up the letter and read the verdict. They give basically a dissertation before they read the verdict. So,
yeah, that's what I tell you. It doesn't work. Real world doesn't work on 10-second sound bites. And also, every judge in the country gets told this: when you make a ruling, explain into the record what's going on. Now, TV judges, there are a lot of TV judges that never were judges, and a lot of them did not operate in a court of record. See, in a court of record, everything you say and everything everybody in the courtroom says is on that transcript, and whatever is done in there, you can read about it later. See, so when somebody is watching your every move, and now they have a lot of times, they have video transcripts too.
This judge, he even spoke about when he is eligible for parole and he re-enters society, the steps that he has to take to go see his parole officer. And I said it was a whole hour of the verdict reading, including this. Okay, the family that went up to speak, there probably was like, no more than two minutes or whatever. And I don't mind them talking. You could like, because it's emotional, right? But when the judge spoke, I'm like, dude, what is the verdict? I had to Google the case just to read it on a newspaper website just to get to the point. Because I was not sitting through the 30 minutes of him reading. And I said, oh, I get it, Judge. I get it why you talk your long. I get it. I have ADD. My attention span is not that long. I can't do it.
Let me add this to you. De Tocqueville wrote about it in his treatise, Democracy in America, published 1843. He said Americans are unique. Instead of going to the opera, the play, the concert, the ballet, instead of going out to dinner, what Americans do for their entertainment is go to their courts and watch court proceedings where there is high drama, oratory, suspense, etc. So they learn their system in the process of being entertained. And that's why these judge shows were so popular. But the bottom line is it's not all about what you have been conditioned to deal with in the last 30 some years of a 10-second, 15-second soundbite. I can recall one first-degree murder case, death penalty demanded, where I not only had to draft this crap up, it took me 11 and a half hours to read the damn thing. So in other words, that part would really drive you up a wall where by law you had to read it. And if you read the wrong thing to the jury, there is no time limit on the appeal because they didn't get the right law to apply if you said it wrong. So just imagine the time it would take you to write out a treatise or a paper, term paper in college. It would take you 11 hours to read. So you not only have to write it, you have to sit up there and for 11 hours you're talking.
But that's what I'm saying. And so what is that popular NBC detective show, Law and Order, right? Been on for over 20 years, but you get the verdict by the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, you get 6 days of trial in 7 minutes. It doesn't work like that. Now, let's throw in the rest of it. See, a lot of states don't do what some of these states do. In other words, we're going to break, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break until 11 o'clock tomorrow. Doesn't work that way. You keep going. It's after dinner. It's 9 o'clock. You're still going. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I tried a case until I wasn't the judge, but I was one of the lawyers. It was 6:47 a.m. when we took the morning recess. We'd been trying the case until the sun rose. Now, you try doing that.
Yeah. So, again, it's something like people think that I always argue with you, and it's not that. It's like this is just 2 hours. So, and I'm trying to change you to be like me and talk in sound bites sometimes.
And I'm trying to educate the public because it no longer sits in courtrooms to get its entertainment. It'll watch what's been corrupted.
Reality TV.
We have people who've been out of law school 4 years and they're TV judges, and that nonsense they tell you that isn't how it works. Might be entertaining, but you see, we still have a craving. And the other thing is, where we used to get it as a population? The preacher, the priest, the imam, the rabbi. We don't get that anymore because they don't give a sermon about sin.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get that in church from the pulpit. We don't get it in the pews sitting in the courtroom or the church. And the other thing is what the judge does when he gets off on somebody. It's called the allocution. 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 It's classified or defined in Black's Law Dictionary as approximately the duty of the judge or magistrate to denounce the miscreant and advise him of the community's errors and his transgression of the law and propriety, unquote. So in other words, you're no good, low down dog. You did wrong. You shouldn't have done this here, and don't do it no more. And you're nothing but an unprincipled, scurrilous creep.
One more thing before I swing back to the Fani and Fulton County. I wanted to share this and get your thoughts. Federal agency to develop minority businesses can't only help minority businesses, Texas judge rules. So 3 white plaintiffs sued after they were denied services by the agency whose stated goal is to provide assistance to minorities. So a federal judge in Texas ruled on Tuesday that the Minority Business Development Agency, which provides support to businesses owned by people of color, is now barred from providing exclusive assistance to these entities.
Well, that 55 years ago, Black students all over America, law students all over America knew that. And we tried to beg these characters saying, hey, you're not going to get away with saying your admission will be special based primarily on your race. You have to come up with something else. Give an example. The only high schools in California where this problem exists are almost all predominantly Black or Hispanic. And what that is that you have what they call, what is it when the high school students can take the college courses?
SAT?
No, not the aptitude test where while you're in high school you take the college courses.
Yeah. Oh, college preparatory or
Yeah, well, all of that, but Beverly Hills High School, for example, has so many of these courses that they're limited to 28 unit hours of the courses. Jefferson High School, which is in the same LA, advanced placement. Yeah.
Okay.
Advanced placement. Jefferson High School in Los Angeles, they didn't offer but 8 advanced placement class hours. All right. Beverly Hills High, they limited to 28 because they have so many. Now, for the University of California, a D is 1.0, C is 2.0, B is 3.0, A is 4.0. If you get an advanced placement B, it's a 5.0. If you get an advanced placement A, it's a 6.0. So you've got students from Beverly Hills where there's just about very, 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 very few Black students. So the students there can get 6.0s and 5.0s routinely included in their grade point average. So when they seek admission to the University of California, they aren't in a position where straight A's is 4.0. They may not get all straight A's and such. They might get a few B's, but because they have advanced placement classes, they'll come out with a grade point average of 5.68, 5.74.
what does that have to do with the business?
Well, that's what I'm saying here. See, you get students from an almost all Black school, and the most they can get is, say, a 4.0. Now, you can't say they are admitted because they are Black. You can say students who go to a high school that does not offer advanced placement classes, they should get consideration that's different from the kids whose grade point averages are skewed because they can take all of the advanced placement classes they want. You see how that is? That's race neutral, but you just accomplished a race-oriented purpose. Or you can say, we will give extra
So relate that to correlate that to the business.
In other words, what happened with the business is you can't say we're going to give you preference for being Black. We'll give you preference for a race neutral thing that may overly impact Black folk, but it could impact all others. Like, for example, if you come from a family that's been on public assistance for 2 generations, you might get some consideration. Likely, there's a high likelihood that a Black applicant from a poor background will be getting some
I see what you're saying.
But you can't say that.
Right. So it's not the race, it's the circumstance.
Yeah.
You see how that was a soundbite? But you took me around the mulberry bush.
Yeah, but I had to. So people.
But no, I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. Well, this is the thing, right? Because Minority Business Development Agency was formed under President Nixon as the only federal agency tasked with promoting the growth and competitiveness of minority-owned businesses. Then known as the Minority Business Enterprise, Nixon used an executive order to address economic disparities and inequalities that resulted from racist policies and lack of access. I get it. It makes sense because that was true. Now, even with the small business, the minority business, enterprise, Black businesses get less than 1% of the funding.
Yeah.
So,
and you know why that is?
Why?
We don't take MBA courses we don't go to law school. We didn't concentrate on economics going to college. We spent too much time playing bid whist down in the student union instead of reading,
taking advantage of these
yeah,
policies.
reading Wall Street Journal.
So you're
studying
saying
stock market.
So you're saying the reason why Black businesses get 1% or less than 1% of the minority enterprise funding, right? It is because we don't take advantage of these policies at a higher rate compared to other groups of minorities?
Yeah. Now, this
Not
barbecue
discrimination
business,
anymore.
yeah, this barbecue business I'm in, everybody that's in that said, we're not going to take anything out of it. We're going to make it grow. We'll sacrifice the time, just cost, and let's see how fast we can make it grow. We're 7 years in advance on the curve we set. But all of us have so many experiences with Black businesses that had the opportunity to advance. All of the partners in the business were trying to get the money, party, buy up the bar, and take trips, and at the company expense that were just vacations, not business trips. So they go broke. The other thing is in order to get a business to run now, you have to be able to operate at a loss for 2 years. So how many Black folk or other minorities are able to act at a loss for 2 years running so you can build up good business acumen? You see, did you hang around with guys in college who were up fast track on the economics, or did you hang around with who you hung around with, where everybody hangs in front of a television set watching the game and everybody paint up with the team colors and sit out there no shirt on and it's 40 degrees? That's white, Black, brown, red, or yellow. That's why NBA, NFL, MLB are so popular, is it keeps the unwashed out of things that they don't understand, supposedly. It's a distraction. Caesar talked about it. So 2,080 years later, it still works. Give the peasants, the Roman mob, bread and circuses. Pane e sicelcie, donne pane e sicelcie. Give them bread and circuses. Keep them fed and entertained, and they won't give a damn.
Right.
And we don't.
So next week I want to expound more on that topic, but I want to get back to these super chats because people send in super chats specifically on the Fani situation. Let me put this up. Saw the video of Judge dancing at a Tennessee fundraiser, and was he hot with his smooth dance moves? Beautiful soul he has.
Hey, I can't help myself,
Thank you.
I grew up in South Central, but I transcended.
What happens if the judge doesn't disqualify? Yes, a defense appeal, but what exactly happens to Fani and Wade? They should still lose their license.
Well, yeah, see, the Bar Association, it's kind of draconian. And what's happening is she's got 3 pending complaints right now. Now, she probably is going to hire somebody, which is unethical because you're supposed to do it yourself or pay for it out of your own pocket because your own wrongdoing is not the wrongdoing of the people of Fulton County, Georgia. So she's already made a mistake because she's taking funds allocated to the DA's office to pay for legal counsel to defend her on these accusations, and they don't stem from her function as a district attorney. They stem from her own personal behavior. So she's about to get number 4, but 30 days to answer, and you're going to have to come up with a 25, 30, 40, 50-page response, detailed, set forth line, paragraph, and everything they're asking you to do. You have your 5th Amendment, but if you exercise the 5th Amendment and don't supply what they want, you might lose your law license. So it's sort of, there's that. There's no, and they don't care who you are. They'll jack up judges, Supreme Court justices. Sometimes the Supreme Court justice is jacked up, not for what most people get up. He needs to be impeached, but for unethical stuff. That'll always get you thrown out when you're a lawyer. So yeah, she's got to answer for her law license. Maybe nothing will happen, but it's going to bring some nasty stuff to the light of day. And there is an election season. So let's see where we go.
Thank you, Papa Doc says, so refreshing to hear the truth. Us old folks fought for civil rights in the 60s. Too bad some don't recognize how good we have it in America. Biden behind Willis and Wade too. Vote H.
It.
Vote it.
I guess I'll take the H. Vote. I guess that's just the extra side.
Yeah.
Stroke. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we don't take advantage of what happened, what strides were made after the civil rights.
By the way, I ran into another thing got me angry today. I was applying to renew my PSA pre-check. I've had it for going on 20 years. This time, something strange happened. They said they're going to have to do a security reevaluation, 60 days minimum. So I checked with some of the people they want you to go to if you're going to have it done directly instead of whatever. And it's interesting. I got told, said, Judge, we don't understand why they're doing this. We have people who are first timers, never had it. Everybody gets approved in 3 or 4 days, and they want you to take 60 for a reassessment.
Because you on there, honey, you on the list.
I know that. So I said, you think? She said, yeah, probably. Well, he said, probably, yeah. It looks a little strange. I shouldn't be telling you this. But
thank you, God. He said, whoever counts the votes win.
Kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Executive, I work in the same office building where I guess Letitia, they keep telling me it's a sh. So Letitia James' office is. I
think my mama was trying to say Letitia. Maybe she couldn't spell it too well. I ran into that. How do you pronounce this? Do you know what that spells? Oh, wow. Okay.
But the mother or the parents thought of their own pronunciation. We're gonna spell it and we're gonna sound it this way.
Wait. I routinely made some of the women that I put on probation go file name changes for their children. My worst was this one. Ma'am, pronounce your daughter's name. Akinwale Vaginale. What? So she told me again, Vaginale Delive Smith.
And you will have them go. You would tell them to go change it.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it's spelled. I said, where did you get this? Well, one of the ladies in the delivery room, one of the nurses said it sounded so pretty. So you named your daughter Vaginal Delive. That's how you pronounce it. Said you have 2 weeks to prove to this court that you filed a name change for your daughter. Said there is no way your daughter is going to be allowed by this court to enroll in the first grade with this name. Know what it's spelled?
What?
Vaginal delivery.
Stop playing with me.
I'm not playing. I promise you. That's it.
It's like
vaginal.
I think that's is that like a lawyer, judge?
No, it's unfortunately the truth. I made everybody that had children go to.
I need just pause. Well, I'm gonna get back to the chats for a second. Just
yeah, pause. I know. I bet I made them go look up with an expert in one of the main public libraries.
The woman that named her daughter that. What the woman that named her daughter that vaginal delivery?
Yeah.
Was she really poor, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, she was dumb. She had finished the 7th grade. She wasn't too bright. She had an IQ of about 79, 82, depending upon what it was.
Wait, let me just read this. So he says, I work in the same office building where L. James' office is. I never see her, and people protest her out front a few times a month. LOL, she's a joke. She's not likable. Why does America rotate 6 through K kids from classroom to classroom? Many first world like France rotate teachers with students built relationships.
I'll tell you exactly why. I used to teach school, and what the whole theory is acclimating those children who are going to go further. You have a first period class at University of Southern California, Stanford, UCLA, Harvard, Yale, Princeton. It's at 9 o'clock. It's on one side of the campus. Your second class, you got half mile to go. It's at 10 to 11. Then you got a 2-hour break. It's to acclimate the kid to going from class to class. Plus, the thing of it is the teachers have to set up their presentations, prepare what they're going to put on the blackboard, have somewhere to deposit their lesson plans and the information they have to teach it. So it would be a total dysfunction to let the kids sit on their lazy asses, and the teachers have to go march across campus to put this up. So get the kids used to getting up off their butts, putting a little energy into it, learning how to cope as an adult, because the school 6 through 12 is supposed to be teaching them how to work in the real world so they can get 9 to 5 jobs, either at an hourly wage or for a salary.
Yeah, I agree with rotating classrooms, and yeah.
Plus, sometimes the teachers can't, you get your familiar classroom, you get your desk set up,
Right.
all your writing stuff.
Thank you. Common Man says, I have my Judge Joe Brown barbecue sauce right now. I got it yesterday. I'm waiting for the reveal. I'm going to put it on this duck that I bought, Your Honor. Well, that sounds delicious.
Enjoy.
My buddy got his sauce today. He is putting it on chicken. Dana looking lovely. Thank you, Halimel. Thank you. No, the sauce is delicious. Very delicious. Very good.
And by the way, enjoy the opportunity to be creative. You can take the sauce juice from yellow hot chilies and stuff like that. You thin it down. You can change it. You can add stuff to it. But that basic barbecue flavor is there. Enjoy yourself.
So, are you in a mood for a little pop culture before we get up out of here?
No, but we can do it. You see, I'm used to banishing ignorance with a bit of information, knowledge, analysis, and analytical application. But
Okay,
then
so
ignorance. Now, what do we have here?
Drea Michelle confirms pregnancy. Jalen Green is the father of her third child, right? But people are up in roar because she is 39 and he is a 22-year-old NBA basketball player. He's earning a $10 million a year salary. He has I think $40 or $50 million contract for 4 years. And yeah, I'm trying to get
took
better.
my money. Now I'm in need.
Well, she does
He's
have
a
her own.
gold digger. Oh, yes, indeed. Whether it's Jamie Foxx or Ray Charles, that's the number.
She does have her own money. But so what I wanted to ask is, do you?
That's like, come on now. Really?
Wait a minute, what is this?
We got the sexual revolution because people could have sex in safety and pregnancy free. Now people just have free sex and get knocked up.
Well, are people criticizing her because of her age? But if she was a 39-year-old man and got a 22-year-old woman pregnant, people wouldn't care.
No, why?
Why?
It's a dominant thing. 39-year-old man is Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, other people on the cusp of achieving greatness or not. They have been adults for 19 years, 18 years at 39 years old. They're at the height of their power. It's a little odd when there's a woman who has that position over a boy and she's not his mama.
Well, he's a grown man and he has
at 22 years old. That's barely a definition. You're not grown at 20.
Listen, if he could handle that type of demanding career.
That's not a demanding career to play and
Well, I
do
mean,
what other people do for recreation. You get paid tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars.
he has a career and he has to balance it
That's
with the
a
dollar.
career. That's not a real work career.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. And
I don't either. I played football in
no, no,
college.
no. I'm sorry.
I wasn't that
nothing wrong.
big, but
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
saying not to say.
No, what I'm saying is I don't see nothing wrong that she's 39 and he's 22.
I do.
Why?
At least wait till the boy is not a baby, get to 25 or 26, find out what life's about. Let him be grown for 5 years, 4 years.
Well, he wanted. She didn't.
I know
she
that,
didn't,
but that's unseemly. Wait till he gets over 30.
Well, she's 39 and she wanted a kid.
Yeah, but I know. But
you saying she should have picked someone older?
Yeah, it's like, come on. A woman 39 is so much more mature than a 22-year-old boy. It's pathetic.
And she just want a co-parent. She don't
That's got nothing to do with it. Go get sperm donation and go deal with it. I even have a problem with guys who want to go deal with a girl that young in that. Wait till she hits 30. If she's over 30, okay, fine, go for it. If he's over 30, go for it. But wait till he gets
that's fair.
Get over 30, because under 30, you so stuck on stupid dog.
That is true. We are young. We're in our 20s. I had both I had my daughter. I was young. I was a teenage mom, 16, but I had my son when I was 21, and I was with his father for 10 years. But you still in your 20s, so it's like it's different.
Get over 30. Let the baby get over 30.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Come closer to the camera. All right, this is a great show. One little thing, I figure I'll play this for fun. And before I get to the results of the poll that I put in there, but two things. His fine ass. I just wanted to say that. Trevante Rhodes. Okay, it was something else. Oh, this. I want to play this. It says, Harvard genetic professor concluded that Africans are the only pure humans on Earth, and every other race carry the Neanderthal DNA. Separate group of scientists from the University of Washington carried out a study on the same subject matter and discovered the same results. I don't feel like calling it in, so let me just play this clip real quick.
By the way, the short story on that is that only applies to some of those who've never been out of Africa. If you're a Black American, it doesn't apply to you because you have the same intermixture. If you have Native American in you, you have a higher percentage of that Neanderthal DNA.
All right, let me
So
play
if you've got any white in you, you got a chance of having 2 to 4% of your gene code is Neanderthal. So give it up.
Let me play the 1 minute video. Let me play the 1 minute video.
This is a skull of a modern human, and this is from a Neanderthal. Look closely and you can see that this one has a slightly longer brain case. Most scientists believe that these are two separate species, and there wasn't much interaction between the two. But now we know there was interbreeding, and that all non-Africans living today are part Neanderthal. The researchers extracted DNA from Neanderthal fossils and compared it with that taken from people living today. They found that the DNA of Europeans and Asians is Neanderthal.
It's a very exciting discovery because it gives us really the first strong evidence that there was interbreeding with people like the Neanderthals. And it means that modern humans in different parts of the world may have slightly different mixes.
And the Neanderthal in me has always said Neanderthal, I stand quite corrected.
There are many jokes about people behaving like Neanderthals, but it seems the joke could be on us.
All right, so that was the end of that. So yeah, what are your thoughts? So it's like,
it's nothing new. That's not really a new report. That's kind of It's been out there for a long time. Since they've been able to do gene sequencing. So
basically we all have Neanderthal in us if we're non-African.
Non-recent Africans.
Non-recent African. But at some point, the African and the Neanderthal interbreeded.
Yeah, and if you Sudetenland, Northern Africa, below Egypt, whatever, you do have the same kind of back and forth mixtures. People do travel. So Neanderthals basically were in their heyday 300,000 years ago. Modern, what they call it goes this way. They're called scientifically Homo sapiens neanderthalis, and we're called Homo sapiens sapiens. There's also a third one that they detect DNA from called Denisovian.
Okay.
So what
the question is,
what winds up happening is that there are parts of Africa that contain people that on average have no Neanderthal DNA. Most everybody else in the world does, because they didn't just exterminate them. They, they were far from home, and there was some Neanderthal nookie. So
wait, two things. So Neanderthal doesn't mean pure white.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Neanderthal comes from a particular type of older human, Homo sapiens neanderthalis. They found in the Neanderthal Valley back in the 1900s. They are portrayed, they have high eyebrows, they have elongated heads, and you know who fits the typical image of one? Who plays Captain Picard in Star Trek?
Spock?
No, Captain Picard.
No, I'm not a Trekkie.
Okay, well, anyway, whoever Captain Picard is, I can't remember his name. He's still around. He's got these big eyebrow ridges and a sloped forehead and a slightly receding chin, but sort of broad. Neanderthal. Patrick Stewart. He looks like your typical Neanderthal. You should see.
Wasn't that Captain Kirk or no?
No, not Captain
Wait, Patrick
Kirk.
Stewart was Spock, right?
No.
No? Oh.
The one that is Captain.
But I know Patrick. I can't think of his face, but I've heard of Patrick Stewart. But all right, one more thing.
In other words, he plays. Okay, have you seen X-Men?
Yes.
He plays the guy in the wheelchair.
That was Spock.
That's not Spock.
Oh my God. First of all, chat, can you tell me?
Somebody tell her that's not Spock.
Wait a minute.
He died years ago.
Who played Spock? How do you spell Spock?
Who just played Captain Picard?
Oh, that ain't him. That's right. He did that. I'm getting my neat there.
But see, that's what a Neanderthal looks like. If you saw a Neanderthal today, particularly if he had a beard.
He said they got zero. I do.
See, if you saw look. One thing I marveled at, they dig a body out of the ground and it's totally decayed and they cannot ID it. So they would reconstruct the face and you'd be on trial and they want to know how you knew this was this person. So they'd show you the facial reconstruction and then you'd see the person in life. And the only difference would be maybe the guy in life had a mole or something or a scar that this reconstruction didn't. So when you see them do the reconstructions of Neanderthal faces from the skulls, what you wind up with is they look like, you've seen people like that get on a subway or a bus, or somebody like that you went to school with.
All right, one last question. And then I got to go to the poll and then we're going to see.
But he does look much like a Neanderthal, sloping broad head and big eyebrow ridges and long heads. By the way, Neanderthals had a higher cranial capacity than modern humans, significantly bigger brain space.
Okay, good to know. One last question. Who is Gorilla Grit?
How the hell do I
Who's
know?
Gorilla Grit?
Who is it?
Chat, can y'all help me out? Because according to the Bluetooth messages or text or the Bluetooth names, somebody nickname is Gorilla Grip. You ain't hear about that?
No, who is it?
Fanny. Fanny, yes, Fanny. You didn't hear about the nickname Gorilla Grip?
Why did they call it that? Besides, have you seen?
Wait, and then see somebody gonna try calling him now. Really? Oh my god. What happened? What happened? Where'd he go? Oh my god. This always happens at the end of the show. It always happens. I said Gorilla Grip and it said goodbye. Where's the judge?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what happened. As soon as we was talking about Gorilla Grip, honey. Oh my god. And he dropped out. He dropped out. Show over, everybody. Fani Willis' phone identified as Gorilla Grip. I mean, as soon as we talk about Gorilla Grip, okay, show over. Show is over. We may not do a show Thursday. Judge O'Brien's going out of town on business tomorrow. He comes back Thursday, but I don't know what time on Thursday. There he goes. There you go.
Have you seen her feet, by the way? Is that why they call her that?
No.
God, she's got the ugliest looking feet.
What it says?
Which is 928-444-3555.
What's the owner name of this phone?
The name that would appear on, say, a Bluetooth device is found on line 32, which is Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Okay.
Which is 928-444-3555.
What's the owner name of this phone?
The name that would appear on, say, a Bluetooth device is found on line 32, which is Gorilla Grip Pussy Pal.
Okay.
Which
explain.
I don't know. Somebody in the chat said wrong trial. Okay, so are they trying to say that was part? Are they trying to put that on Fanny? Is that...
Have you seen the pictures? She's in an evening gown, I think.
No, what picture?
She's got on little strap sandal, high heels. That woman, remember Boomerang? Eddie Murphy played in that, and he was.
Okay, so it says the phone Gorilla Grip was Hannah from Russ the Admiral. Okay, that trial. Okay, all right. So,
okay, well, you threw me off.
You know how the internet, especially X, honey, like they start to troll it.
I thought they were talking about her feet. You know, gorillas can hold with hands and feet. You know, I did not know.
Yeah, that was trending last week on X. They were saying that was her name on his Bluetooth. Her nickname Gorilla Grip. All right, it's a different trial. Okay, internet wins again. All right, so you were going out of town.
One hell of a nickname.
You were going out of town. You'll be back Thursday, but we may not. I don't know when you're coming back Thursday, so we may not be doing a show. Correct?
I'll be back Thursday. Actually, they're flying me back late Wednesday night. But now that I don't have an operative TSA pre-check, the airport I'm coming through is ridiculous for long lines. So I'm looking at
Oh, you was denied your TSA.
Yeah, they told me they had to do a full rehearse.
Oh, honey, Fanny said to the Biden administration, put him on every federal list.
That's what I kind of got told. There was no reason to do it. Somebody must not like you a little more than they,
honey, they
don't like you. I know.
Honey, they ain't watching me because I'm broke.
I'm just trying to keep the scoundrels straight.
They're watching you because you're the man, honey.
I don't know about that. I don't have hardly any followers. I'm just an ordinary person. Act like I got a cult or something coming along behind me.
It's a good show. Oh, can you please do a disclaimer on this is not an interview?
Okay, hold on. Here's what I am going to do. The opinions stated here are lay opinions relative to the proceedings on trial. We are not attempting to give legal advice. If you want to find out what the law is in your particular state, it would be strongly suggested that you consult with local legal counsel. You might also check around, not just for the glitzy advertising, but for those who have an actual on-the-ground reputation for excellence in giving advisement. So this is not offered as legal advice. What we're simply doing is discussing the law. So if you want legal advice, get a lawyer. They go to school, study hard to do what they do. Some are a lot better than others, but at least you have a threshold competence indicated by a certification that they can practice law. Lawyers are like doctors. As a matter of fact, they go to school longer than doctors. Physicians, I mean, since lawyers mostly these days have a doctorate degree. Some of them have not done much interning. Some of them have done no residencies, but they at least have the book learning. So what you need to do is find the ones that have the internships where they've done the on-the-ground work and the residency where they've actually tried jury trials. So find the one that's got the most experience, and that's who you might want to listen to. But don't listen to us when you want advisement as to the law. Deal with finding a licensed attorney, because if an attorney gives you the direction and the guidance, it's his fault if it goes wrong.
And can you tell the people that I'm not interviewing you, that we actually...
Oh, that one. Dana and I are not doing this interview guest thing. I am a regular part of this action. So it's me and her. We are sort of co-equal, but she looks better than me. So
he says sort of co-equal because he knows more than me. So I'm not his equal. I surpass him in looks.
She looks better.
But everything else, he surpasses me.
She looks a lot better than me.
All right. So
he's contentious and cranky.
I'm contentious. The audacity, honey. You know that's the stereotype for Black women. So I put a question in the chat. I said, will DA Fani Willis' office be disqualified from the Trump case? 93% says hell yes. 16% says no. 2.6 thousand people voted.
That's pretty good. That's as big as anybody's national poll.
Yeah.
2,600 people. Most of the time they use 1,900.
I am not contentious, honey. People, Black men love saying Black women contentious. I would think white people use that. Actually, the phone gorilla grip was I thought that was something. I thought, okay, I did get that. I got that. Okay, my bad. All right. So that's it. All right. So I guess we will be back Thursday. But anyway, safe travels, Judge.
Well, if it ain't safe, I'll enjoy the roller coaster ride on the way out.
God. So
what a way to go. Crunch. Then you get cremated.
All right, last word.
Squashed and fried. Okay, hang in there. Do your thing. Be skeptical. Look closely. Read between the lines. Do your thing. There's an election season coming up. Punish and reward. But make sure you know what you're doing when you do that so you don't get the wrong person or entity. Anyway, enjoy yourself. Been good. Daylight saving time. You lost an hour, but.
Oh, and happy Ramadan. Ramadan started at sundown on the 10th. Yeah. So
And you
happy
notice it
Ramadan.
was after dark when I threw down.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow, and I will see you Wednesday by myself, and then the judge will be back on Thursday. Bye.
Up and away.